All right, welcome to lesson, there we go, 6 Tax and Gratuity. So I'm sorry I couldn't be there with you guys today, but we're still doing a lesson like normal. So our objective for today, I can solve real percent problems involving tax and gratuity. So first we have to think to ourselves, what is tax? We pay it, right? Different situations, we pay property taxes for the land that we live on. We pay school taxes. We pay taxes on food when we go to the grocery store. We pay taxes every time we buy a shirt at the mall. So pretty much anything that we buy, gas has a tax. We pay a tax, and a tax is a percent of the amount due that is added to the total. So when we find the percent, normally in New York State, our tax rate is currently about 8%. So that means when you go to the store, whatever your total is, you're paying 8% of that as your tax. So what they're doing is, let's say you buy something for $20. They take 8% of $20, and then they add it to your $20 to get the total that you're paying for. Okay, so we're going to talk about tax today, and we're also going to talk about gratuity. So gratuity is a tip given for a service. Okay, so the most common forms of gratuity is when you go to a restaurant, right? And you leave a tip for the waiter or waitress. Or if you get a taxi, sometimes you tip the taxi service. Also, sometimes you tip a concierge if you go to a fancy hotel. Sometimes people even tip their maids at a fancy hotel as a sign of respect. So it is something that we give to somebody for doing a great job at their workplace. Okay, so today we're going to calculate both of those. So if we start off with the first one, we're going to calculate tax first. So tax says the sticker price on a used car was $2,500. When you purchase the car, you have to pay 4% tax. What is the total price she paid for the car, including tax? So tax differs. I said 8% is typical. 8% is typical for things like clothing. But when it comes to cars, we pay a 4% tax. So here we need to find the sales tax. So the sales tax is 4% of $2,500. So to do that, we have 4% of $2,500, which is 4% as a decimal, move my decimal 2 places over, 0.04 times 2,500. So when I do that on my calculator, I do 0.04 times 2,500, and I get $100. So that means that I'm paying $100 in tax in addition to the $2,500 that it cost me to pay for the car's regular price. So to find the total, we're going to take our $2,500 and we're going to add our $100 of tax to get a total of $2,600, including tax. So really, when you see a sticker price, you go to the store and you see that a shirt is $19.99. It's really not $19.99. It's that plus the tax that we get. Okay, so let's look at the next one. We have Margaret went grocery shopping at Wegmans. Her groceries total came to $146.50. A 1.2% sales tax was added to the total. Determine Margaret's total, including tax. So I need to find the total, including tax. First, I need to find the tax. So over here, I'm going to write tax. And to find my tax, I'm taking 1.2% of my total, which was $146.50. So to do that, I need to change my decimal percent to an actual decimal by moving it 2 places over. So I have 0.012. Of means to multiply 146.50. And when I multiply those two on my calculator, I get that my sales tax is let's see. I get that my sales tax is 1.758. So when I have that, I need to make sure that I write that as money. So when I look at that as money, money only has 2 decimal places. So it's not going to be 1.75. We're going to round up to 1.76. So my sales tax is $1.76. So I need to take my tax and I need to add it to my original 146.50 plus my 176 to get my total of 148.26. So when I go to the store, that's how much I'm actually paying with my total, including tax. Okay? All right, let's take a look at the next one. The next one says, James buys a video game for his Xbox for $49.99, a controller for $34.95, and a walkthrough manual for $19.99. The sales tax in his area is 8.25%. What will be the total cost of his purchase? So we're looking for the amount of his purchase, including tax. So when you go to a store, you don't calculate the tax based on each thing that you get. Instead, you add everything up and take 8.25% of that. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to add these up. $44.99 for the Xbox game, $34.95 for the controller, and $19.99 for the manual. And we should get a total of $104.93. So that's how much she pays total. Now, for sales tax, we have to pay 8.5% of that. So of means to multiply, remember. So 8.25% of $104.93. Move my decimal 2 spaces over. I get 0.0825. Of means I'm going to multiply 104.93. And when I do that, I get, let's see, 0.0825 times 104.93. I get 8.656. Now remember, money means that we need to round. So we're going to round to 2 decimal places. So it's going to be 8.66. So I have $8.66 is my tax. So now that I know that I'm paying $8.66 for my tax and my total before tax was $104.93, to find it all together, I'm going to add those to get $113.59. That's how much I'm paying in total for everything. All right. So now if you look at the next one, it says, Greg is at a movie theater and has $14 to spend on food. His large popcorn, a box of candy, and a soda totals to $12.99. If the tax is 8.5%, does he have enough money to buy the concessions? Show your work to support your answer. So when we think about this, he's buying $12.99 worth of goods. So he's buying $12.99, and he needs to take 8.5% of that for tax. So your job is to find 8.5% of $12.99. Figure out what the tax is. Once you know the tax, you can add it to your $12.99 and see if that's less than $14. If it's less than $14, he has enough money. If not, he unfortunately does not have enough money. All right, so I'm going to go ahead, pause the video. I want you to do out number 5 for me, okay? All right, welcome back. So when we take a look, we get that the total tax is $1.04, which brings his total to $14.03. So he does not have enough money. He's only short by 3 cents, though. Okay, now let's flip the page. Now we're going to talk about calculating tip. So again, tip is the percent of a number. So if we look at number 1, your parents took your family out to dinner. Your parents wanted to give the waiter a 15% tip. If the total amount of the dinner was $42, what should be paid to the waiter as a tip? So this is our total, and we're taking 15% of $42 to figure out how much the tip is going to be. And roughly, tip amounts are usually anywhere between 15 to 25%, depending on how well the service is. But normally people pick the percent that they want to give depending on if they have really good service. They'll give them about a 20% tip. If they have a little bit of a weaker service, maybe a 15% tip. Okay, so let's look. 50% of $42. Well, when I move my decimal place over, I get 0.15 times 42. And when I do that in my calculator, I end up getting $6.30. So the question asked, what should be paid to the waiter? Well, the waiter's tip is $6.30. All right, let's look at number 2. John takes a taxi from the airport to his grandparents' house. The total fare was $46. He plans on tipping the driver 16% for his excellent service. How much will John be paying in total for his taxi ride? So I need to find what he's going to leave as a tip because he's going to pay $46 plus whatever the tip may be. So I have to find 16% of $46. So to do that, I'm going to change my 16% to a decimal, multiply by 46. I end up getting that he gets $7.36 that he leaves for a tip. Okay. So now how much is he paying for the total? Well, if he's paying $7.36 for the tip and he has $46 for his fare, it's going to be $46 plus his $7.36, which gives a total of $53.36. So for his taxi service, he's actually paying $53.36 total. All right, let's look at the next one. Fiona got her hair cut and colored at the hairdresser salon. She always gives her hairdresser a 20% tip. If her cut and color came to $85, what is the amount of the tip? How much does she pay in total for her cut and color? All right, so your job for number 3 is you're going to find how much she's paying for the tip, and you're figuring out how much that's going to be when you add the tip to the original $85. So go ahead, pause the video, and work on this on your own. All right, welcome back. So if we take a look at this one, Mrs. Wall, I took 20% of 85, which gave me a $17 tip. So if I had $85 for my service plus my $17 tip, I'm spending a total of $102 at the salon. That's a lot of money. All right. So far when we've talked about calculating tip, we really haven't talked about tip and tax. But when you think about a restaurant, and when you go to a restaurant, you have to leave both, right? You have to leave a tip and you get charged a tax for your food. So let's read about Lonnie and his situation and work through this together. So Lonnie went out to dinner with her family at Applebee's. The total cost of their meals came to $110.29. Oops, Lonnie's on there twice. Sorry, guys. Lonnie's parents decide to leave the waitress a 15% tip after the 8% sales tax was applied. Find the total amount of money, including tax and tip, that the Lonnie's family spent on dinner. A lot going on. Okay, so $110.29 is how much they paid for dinner. First, they're applying the 8% tax because it says after that they're applying the 15% tip. So I'm going to break this up into 2 sections. I'm going to break this up into tax. I'm going to break this up into tip. So find the tax first. I'm taking 8% of my total bill, which is $110.29. So to change that, I need to change it to a decimal. So I have 0.08 times $110.29. When I do that, when I round, the tax is $8.82, right? That's my tax. It says that they left their waitress a 15% tip after tax was applied. So that means we need to apply this tax to the total. So I'm going to add $110.29 plus my $8.82. And when I do that, I get $119.11. This is for the tax and the meal. So it costs them $119.11 for the tax and the meal. Now I need to find the 15% tip of it. So it's 15% tip after the tax is added, which means we're finding 15% of my total with tax, which was $119.11. So when I do that, I have to change my percent to a decimal of $119.11. 0.15 times $119.11 gives me $17.87. So that's how much they gave for their tip. Now that I have the tip, and I have the total with the meal and the tax, I have to add them both together to get the total that they're paying all together for the whole meal, including tax and tip, which is going to be $136.98. All right. Okay, so your job now is to work on the practice section. So this section right here on the next page you're going to work on. You have 1 through 5 to do, and then you have your blast from the past. Make sure you read very carefully for these practice problems, okay? When you are done, I'm going to have you submit your entire packet. All right, so make sure your name is on the packet and make sure you submit the whole thing when you're done. All right, I hope you had a great time. Sorry I missed you. Bye.